So you want to start, or?
Sure. So I think we both have a list of demands that we're looking to settle here. Hopefully very amicably.
Yes, that's what my party is hoping for as well.
Good, I'm happy to hear that. We should be able to come to an agreement. So I think we should start with my client Robert's business.
Yes.
He would very much like to keep that intact.
He would like to keep that. Okay, that's good. Well, I think he has about 3 options here. He can either sell the business and give Angela her investment back, because they both split the investment at the beginning. I believe it was originally $100,000 that they both invested. Yeah. And or you can keep the business going and give her 50% of the profit because they split the investment. Or he can buy her out over time through some sort of payment plan. But as long as she still has an investment in the company, she holds a stake in that company and will get whatever portion or whatever percentage of the investment that is still in the business. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, but I would like to pay her back for her initial business investment over a period of 5 years. So I want to pay her back for her half of what she invested, which is $50,000.
Okay, but you do understand that businesses do not just stay at $50,000. Her investment would not just stay at $50,000. Since the business is now valued at $1,500,000, I believe her investment portion would be $750,000. So she would be seeking $750,000 for her business.
Okay, but what I think would be fair is I will pay her back he will pay her back for her initial investment over a 5-year period, and then she can keep some stake in the business and be eligible for a certain percentage of their profits. Maybe like a share or some kind of interest in the company. But he would like to remain complete control over his company, of course, because it's his.
Yeah, of course. I mean, my client does not want to take his business away from him. She just wants her investment back. And seeing as how that investment grew over time, like most investments do, she just wants to be bought out. She just wants her $750K.
Where are you getting that figure from, though?
Robert's advertising mail business, $1,500,000, so 1.5 mil. When you split 1.5 in half, don't quote me on the math. I think it's $750,000
Each.
Yes.
So obviously the investment grew over time, but that really had still his business. He wants to buy her out of the company with just her initial investment. She hasn't had any stake in the business. She hasn't been operating it with him. It's been his business.
Yes, but but she was the one that helped him start the business in the first place. If I buy, let's say, $2 million in Apple stock, and over however long they own the business for, so let's say just say 10 years, that investment grows twice as much to $4 million, and I want to take my stocks out, take my stake of the company away, I would get $4 million because my investment doubled.
Okay, but there's also the issue of her business, which was started with marital funds, so then he's going to be also entitled to some of that business then.
Well, how much did
it's worth $60,000
$60,000. Well, how much did he invest or help Angela with?
I believe my client just said it was marital funds. He didn't give a direct figure anywhere, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think there's. Yeah, no, you're right. There's no.
But I think it's only fair if she wants to take an interest in my client's business. There's also the issue of her business as well.
Yes, this is true.
He's entitled to.
So, if we can find out how much my client Angela's business grew over time and how much was invested in it, I'll be willing to take that amount of money. Well, my client will be willing to take that amount of money out of her portion of the advertising mail business. So out of the $750,000.
Okay, I think that's fair. And as far as buying her back, I understand that her investment grew, but we would
And the same would go for Robert.
No, of course,
because
yeah.
it's an investment.
So
I believe it's.
I'm fine with deducting that amount from what she's taking from his business,
Okay.
but it's gonna, for the rest of the money that he has to pay back her to buy her out, we're gonna need some sort of payment plan because
Yeah, that's a lot.
he's
That's a
not
large amount of
available
money.
to
Okay.
give that all in sum.
Because the only way he would be able to do that is if he sold the business and he wants to keep it.
Exactly.
Okay, that seems fair. I'm just writing this down. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, so now that we have his business, I can't speak, Robert's business out of the way, how do you feel about the children? Because that is Angela's biggest concern. She doesn't want them.
That's too much to understand. My client obviously has a very busy work schedule with his own business, so I think he would be most comfortable with having the children on the weekends when he has time to spend with them, and Angela can have them during the week.
Okay, and seeing as how Angela runs a photography business, she won't be able to have him on, say, Friday or Saturday or Sunday because that's usually when weddings take place.
Okay.
So if there's a date that my client cannot have the children during the week because of some wedding that was scheduled and she has to photograph it, then there has to be some way for her to be able to get in contact with Robert and tell him her situation and have him either get a babysitter or drop the kids off at his parents because Angela's parents do not live in the area.
Okay, that's fine. I think my client's definitely looking for an amicable divorce, so they'll have open communication to discuss that.
And now for holidays, because my client's biggest concern for the holidays is that she's going to be alone for the entire duration of, like say, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, what have you. Would there be a way that my client would be able to switch off holidays every year, saying that one year Robert has the eve of the holidays with the children and Angela has the actual holiday with the children, and then the next year it will switch off where Angela will have the children on the eve of the holiday and Robert will be on the...
See, my client has a hard time with splitting the holidays up by days because he would like to take the children to visit their grandparents in Vermont, and that's obviously going to take some travel days.
Okay.
So maybe if we could switch off the holidays and give them both, like Christmas one year for Robert, Christmas one year for Angela.
Well, I don't know how my client would feel about that because her biggest concern is being alone for the holidays. Once again, her family does not live in the area, and that would, I don't know what travel costs she would incur, but she would take on some sort of plane ticket to wherever her family lives. It doesn't say where they live, so.
Well, it's a good thing she's getting $750,000 back from my client.
Yes, but plane tickets, depending what area of the country, they could be anywhere from $60 if it's from Washington, D.C. to, say, Philadelphia, or I believe $2,000 if it's from Newark, New Jersey to California.
I understand your client's concern with being alone on the holidays, but keeping the children away from their grandparents obviously wouldn't be a very good solution either. They need to spend time with their father and their grandparents too.
That's true, but...
If we can come up with something where that we can meet each other in the middle here, because both people are going to have to be alone sometimes on the holiday. That's unfortunate for Robert as well, but that just comes with being divorced.
Yes, unfortunately. Well, that being said, would Angela be the primary caretaker?
She would.
Okay.
So she's obviously going to be spending more time with the children.
Alright.
So I think it's fair at least we could even devise it for one holiday like Christmas. They'll go away to Vermont, maybe Thanksgiving. They'll stay local or something where she won't be alone for every single holiday. We could set it up so just Christmas is spent every other year in Vermont with the children's
Okay,
grandparents.
that seems fair. Just Christmas would be every other year,
Mm-hmm.
and then could we do like Angela would get them on the eve of the holiday? I don't want to fall asleep. Angela would get them on the eve of the holiday, and Robert would get them on the holiday, and then the next year Robert would get them on the eve, and Angela would get them on the eve.
Are we talking about Christmas?
No,
Okay.
I'm saying other holidays.
Other
Christmas
holidays,
has already been determined.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Take my class. that will be okay?
Okay. Which issue would you like to pursue next?
I think we should discuss alimony.
Alimony.
My client's prepared to offer several years of alimony at 5% of his salary, but we would very much like to keep it limited since she's getting such a high amount of money back from his company.
All right. That does not seem to be a problem because my client wants to be able to take time off to develop her business and spend time with the children and help them cope with the divorce because that could be a rough time for all parties involved, even if you're not the parents. I'm saying, well, I'm speaking on behalf of my client, but she wants, I believe, 15% for 15 years.
15% of his salary.
15, 1-5.
Okay, well, we're looking more around the 5% range, considering that she's taking such a large chunk of his business and she's going to be reimbursed for that. Not to mention, without the business, he wouldn't even be able to pay her alimony in the first place.
Okay. Well, I'm not able to speak with my client at the moment, but I know that she will not be happy with 5%. Could you meet my client at 10 years at 10%?
I mean, that's a really big increase.
But it's also going down by 5 years, by 5-year increment.
No, I understand that. Let's say if I meet you there at 10% for several years, we can call the money that Angela's parents gave to Robert a gift and deduct that from what she has to pay back, what he has to pay back to her.
Well, see, that was never. Hold on. I don't want to get involved with the gift before the matter of alimony is resolved. But that could be next.
I'm just a little concerned with how much money my client is giving out to keep his business, and then also to have to pay alimony.
Well, it seems like it's been a very profitable business. I mean,
it has, but he still needs to live. And a lot of his profits from his business are going to go to buying her out of the business.
Well,
which we previously discussed.
Okay.
What if you met me at 8? Just so my client can feel a little bit better.
At 8%?
Yes.
For how many years?
How many years was your initial offer?
My initial offer was 15% for 15 years.
I mean, if we're going to come down in the percentage, we could have a little bit longer period of time.
A little longer, okay.
Because we were looking at several years to begin with.
Okay.
Which I'm sure, what does that mean, around 7 or 8 years? I don't know, but.
Whatever 7 is.
I could give you 8% for 15 years.
8% for 15 years. Okay.
Considering she doesn't remarry or anything of that nature.
Alright, that seems fair. Hold up, I don't want to move on just yet. I want to make sure that it's fair. But then what happens if your client goes and finds a girlfriend or some significant other? So assuming that the 8% for 15 years is assuming that they don't
remarry. I didn't say.
Not remarry.
Like that. Although I do have some concern if you mention it. I would like to have, as far as the children go, some kind of stipulation that I would not want any potential boyfriend that Angela may have to be staying over when my client's children are there.
Assuming that goes for Robert as well.
Yep, definitely.
Well, you see, I don't believe my client could just keep her kids in the dark about having a significant other when they know that they're going through a divorce. Like, it's bound to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But
my client was clear that he would be uncomfortable with his children being there while Angela
okay,
had.
I could totally understand. I totally understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But
And she will have weekends, of course, without the children. So what she does in that time.
all weekends are when she works.
It's unfortunate for her schedule. I think at least for a significant period of time, it would be best for the children and not. My client feels that it would be inappropriate right now.
Okay. Well, since Angela wants the best, how do you say, I guess, situation for her children, that seems fair. That's doable.
Wonderful.
Alright.
Moving on. The vacation home
Okay.
in West Virginia. I mean, my client would very much like to keep the home. I'm not sure what your client's position is on it.
My client doesn't really care about the home. It wasn't really her idea, but she helped finance it because, well, they're married and that's what married people do. So, she will have to be bought out of this, unfortunately. But that seems like the only viable thing to do. She did have a realtor come in and appraise the house because I know on the sheet.
Robert did as well.
Okay. And what did Robert say? Robert's
His realtor was consulted. They found that there's a 60% chance the house would sell for $1 million, 20% chance for $900,000, and equal 20% chance that they would get $800,000.
Okay. Well, Angela's realtor came in and said there's an 80% chance it could be 1 million, 10% 9, 10% 8. Since they both split the house, I figured it would only be fair as well for my client that if what am I trying to say? That I think it would be fair that if the house were to be sold, it would be split. So 500,000, 4,500, 405,000. I'm getting my numbers wrong. 450,000. Yeah, me neither. That's why I'm pretty on it. So just 50% of whatever the
Okay. But then there's the
appraised value
issue
of the
of
houses.
figuring out the correct appraisal number.
Yes, that's true.
Both our realtors got two different
Okay, well,
figures. So maybe if we could, both parties pick a realtor they both feel comfortable with, have them appraise the home, and then go with that number.
I like that. Yes. Or we could just pick the 900,000 and call it even because
So she would want
It'd be the
half
minimum.
of that back.
yes, or whatever, or whatever amount of money that she put into the house.
She wants that back.
Yes.
I don't have a clear figure of how much money
Me neither.
they both put into the house, but
So just whatever.
I think with the large amount of money that my client has to pay back to your client to keep his business intact, I think it would be in his best interest to sell the vacation home. Because he did mention that he would be willing to. I think with the expense of the $750,000 and paying her back for the initial investment in the vacation home would be a little too much for him at this time. And with the increased alimony, so I think we should sell that and split the profits in half.
Okay. I agree. And seeing as how everything else is, let me write this down first. Seeing as how that the house will be a readily available asset, or would be able to, it's going to be liquidated very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So could that be immediate money that my client would get?
As soon as the house is sold.
As soon as the house is sold?
Get profits.
Okay, cool. Because
Why not?
because the alimony and the money from the business will be like an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Definitely.
Kids at the house.
I'd like to discuss the marital home now.
Yes. For the children.
Yes, I understand. The children are very important, but Robert is looking to have that house be sold so that he can buy a condo closer to the children and so that they can each have their own rooms.
That's fine. My client's main concern is that the children stay in district for the school system because...
My client agrees with that. And Robert would like to buy a condo, a larger one, in the same neighborhood as the children. So, if they can both stay in the same neighborhood, that would be great.
Angela and Robert in the same neighborhood? Or...
In distance, doesn't have to be exact same neighborhood. Would they like to be divided by neighborhoods?
I'm just thinking on behalf of my client of what it would be like to see your ex-husband.
They don't have to be the exact same neighborhood, he just wants to be closer than he is. But
Alright.
he obviously agrees that the children should stay in the same neighborhood that they're in right now.
Okay. That seems perfectly fine. Because my client has no problem like going from the main house to a small house if it's for the children.
Okay. And then we'll split that profit right down the middle as well.
Okay. Alright. Now I guess we can go to the gift for the loan.
Sure. We called it a gift and then a loan.
Well,
It is a gift.
earlier you said that it was a gift, but my client keeps referring to it as a loan.
Whatever she may refer to it as, the fact of the matter that it was a gift from her parents to Robert for his business and not to them as a couple. And it seems that they're in no rush to get that money back, and even if so, it would go back to them and not Angela because it's not Angela's money.
Alright. I mean, my client does not think that Robert should benefit from money that wasn't his to begin with. It was his parents.
I understand the emotional connections involved there, but it is a gift, and it was to him. Whether or not their ties are cut now, at that time, it was a gift. He paid back some of the money to please Angela, but her parents did not seem thrilled by it or in any rush for it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that would be a problem. We can consider that a gift.
Great.
Now, the splitting up of all of,
The antiques.
yes, the cars, the
Cars.
car used by Robert, by Angela. What I think should happen here is that Robert's car remains Robert's car, Angela's car remains Angela's car.
Me. I know that there is a loan on each of those cars.
Yeah.
And I think that, would it be fair just to have each person handle their own loan?
Yeah, it's their car. That just seems fair. That's what happens in real life.
Great.
Closed. 4-year-old. So now the furniture and household goods.
Okay.
I can tell you right now that my client. Should have highlighted this.
Well, it was my understanding your client's never been a huge fan of the
Yeah, she doesn't want
antiques.
it. She doesn't want money from it.
Okay.
All she wants is the dinner set. The dining room set.
That's all she wants out of all of them?
Yeah, she just wants to pass it down to her children.
I think my client would be okay with that, and he'll keep the rest of them.
Okay.
Perfect.
Alright, now the money market. Savings in the money market account.
Okay.
Do you know, I don't believe it says who put how much money in there?
Into,
The money market?
I don't remember reading that. I know that they both put,
Yeah, it's definitely not in here.
well, I think they should both, they have separate retirement accounts, am I correct?
Yeah, that was gonna go without question. That was gonna be split up evenly. Like Angela would keep hers, Robert would keep his.
Perfect.
Um,
And now it's a matter of the savings in their money market account?
yeah,
I mean, that's both their joint money, so I would be fine with splitting that down the middle as well.
okay. So split. That would be 21
Yep.
per person. Now loans, not the money gift that was already taken care of. Business loan from the bank. Is that for Angela's business or Robert's business? Does not.
I think that might be for Robert's business.
It's not clarified. Well, since I'm assuming that there was a cosign on that,
I think they might both be
might just
responsible.
split it up, yeah,
And because she's gonna have,
yeah, she's receiving money from Robert, so that money could be, so it's 18, so 60,000, right?
Mhm.
So 60,000 per person. For the business loan from the bank.
so we're gonna, both clients will
split.
share that burden.
Yeah, just split it, yeah,
I think
because
that's fair.
I don't want it to affect my client's credit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to affect her credit as well. And then withdrawals from retirement accounts invested in Roberts. Oh, this is like the original
Yeah, that we
business
already
investment.
discussed.
Okay, cool. Cross that out. Now I believe that's everything.
Do you wanna just go over the few points to make sure we're on the same page before we walk away?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's keeping his business. He's gonna pay back her investment
Mhm.
plus whatever interest the company has grown, but for that, she's gonna share the burden of the business loan with him.
Okay.
Let's see. We decided on 15 years of alimony at 8% of his salary. Is that correct?
Yes.
We're gonna call the money from Angela's parents a gift.
Okay.
And then we still had the matter of, I'm not sure if we figured this out, but since Angela's going to have some income and stake from Robert's business, Robert would like some stake in her business since they both started that together as well. So maybe his initial investment or half of the investment, since it was both of their money, could go back to him. Or some kind of future earnings or profit that she could pay him.
Yeah, I thought that was already covered. But
I don't remember the exact agreement we had.
It was whatever. Well, here, let's just, since we don't really know like
What we agreed on.
what we agreed upon, we'll do it right now because.
Okay.
All right. So, do you know how much? I think it was 20. No, she makes 25,000 a year.
The business is worth
And the business is worth
60,000.
60. So, however much Robert invested and however much the investment grew, that's how much she's allowed to keep.
Okay. It was a joint investment, so we're gonna have to split
Yeah.
the number now. I'm comfortable with that. Those are figures we'll have to
Yeah.
discuss
Those
with
are
our
things.
clients.
So,
Perfect. See, the vacation home we're gonna sell,
yes.
and we're gonna split that down the middle,
Once we find
the proper value.
the proper value. Yeah.
We have a set schedule for the children, but it is flexible so that
Mhm.
Robert can take the kids to see his parents in Vermont. And how would it work if, like, he missed a day or on Saturday he had to work? Would he be able to make those days up? Would we have some flexibility with that? I understand.
That's a good point. Well, he would be allowed to make that day up.
Of course, with Angela's permission, they could discuss a day that works for both.
Yeah, they would have. I couldn't speak on behalf of my client. You would have.
I just want to make sure there's some leeway there.
Yeah, if there's like an emergency where he has to absolutely go into work, then that's totally understandable. But if Angela's working, there will have to be a babysitter found, or
Definitely.
somebody's relatives have to step in and watch.
That's fine.
Okay.
And we decided potential significant others shouldn't be in the house when
Overnight.
the children are there, at least overnight,
Okay.
or at least for a set period of time in the beginning. We could discuss that again. But that goes for my client as well. They're going to sell their marital house.
Well, shouldn't it be for as long as the children, or until the children feel comfortable around the people?
You know, my client expressed that he definitely didn't want that, but I understand that, and I'm sure he will too, that over time the children are going to become comfortable with another person.
Okay, well, that'll,
I would say just for now,
for now, no significant others overnight, but later on that could be discussed.
between them, yep. So, they're going to sell the marital home and split that down the middle. Robert's going to keep the antiques that he wants, and Angela's going to get the dining room set, and he'll take the rest.
Okay. Seems fair.
And as far as the 18th century armoire in the living room, would Angela be able to part with that? Robert expressed a strong interest in it.
I do not think that my client expressed any interest in that.
Wonderful.
But do you know the value of that, of the armoire?
I do not. I just know
Yeah.
it's considered along with the other antiques that Angela doesn't seem to care for.
Well, yeah, it's not expressed in here. Well, so would we would we be able to get the armoire appraised if it's
He's not looking to sell it. He's
He's not
just
looking to
looking
sell
to
it?
put it in his apartment or his condo. I mean, I understand if it was sold, we would split that in half, but he really just likes it. She likes the dining room set.
well, if he likes it and he doesn't sell it, he can have it. But
Okay.
if at any point he wants to sell that,
Split it.
split it.
I think that's fair.
All right.
We had a good agreement here.
Pleasure doing business with you,
You as well.
Miss King.